I just spent 9 hours playing GRIME II, and honestly, it's been a wild ride. The game's surreal art style and Metroidvania gameplay had me hooked from the start, but what really got me was the way it builds upon the first game, addressing some of the issues that held it back. So, is GRIME II worth your time and money? Let's dive in and find out. You play as a creature that can absorb enemies and summon molds in their shape, which is as cool as it sounds. The game's world is bizarre and lived in, with a focus on art that's both fascinating and unsettling. If you're familiar with the first game, you'll notice that the sequel has made some significant improvements, particularly in terms of traversal and combat. But if you're new to the series, don't worry. The game does a great job of introducing you to its unique mechanics and world. The gameplay in GRIME II is where things get really interesting. The combat is tough but fun and satisfying, with a good mix of difficult platforming and boss battles. The traversal is amazing, especially later on, and the progression system is cool, with interesting rewards for defeating bosses or exploring hidden corridors. It's not unlike games like Hollow Knight or Cuphead, where the challenge is part of the fun. And speaking of challenge, the game's got some pretty tough boss fights, but they're also super rewarding when you finally beat them. One player summed it up perfectly, saying that the game becomes challenging and funnish rather than boring and empty after a few hours of playtime. So, what do players love about GRIME II? For starters, the game's unique art style and atmosphere are a major draw. The boss battles are also a highlight, with many players praising their creativity and difficulty. And then there's the sense of progression and exploration, which is really satisfying as you uncover new areas and abilities. One player said that the game is everything I hoped it to be, after 14 hours of playtime, which is a pretty strong endorsement. Another player praised the game's abstract charm and amazing later on traversal, which is a great summary of the game's strengths. Of course, no game is perfect, and GRIME II has its share of complaints. Some players have reported bugs and crashes, which can be frustrating. One player said that the game crashed 5 times in 6 hours, which is definitely not ideal. Others have criticized the game's slow pace and repetitive combat, which may not be to everyone's taste. And then there are the players who are just plain unhappy with the game's developer, which is unfortunate, but not really relevant to the game itself. All in all, GRIME II is a great game that's well worth your time and money. It's available for around 24 bucks, which is a pretty fair price considering the amount of content and polish that's gone into it. If you're a fan of Metroidvanias or action-adventure games,